Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Good? Good. These are not Ron Baden. I am Ron Baden.
Hey.
Why are you still on stage? It's normal after you introduce somebody that you leave.
So, last year,
Yeah.
Tick and Ty got lost in Dallas. Do you remember this? We couldn't find them. And Ron, you were not far behind.
Okay.
And we're in Vegas this year, so
Yeah.
I'm invoking the buddy system.
No.
Yeah.
We're going dancing. We're going to hit the stanky leg, the whip, the nay-nay. Been practicing our Fortnite dances. This one. That's the one.
Thanks,
We promise only a little shenanigans, okay? Just a little shenanigans.
Like minimum shenanigans.
Minimum shenanigans. Great job, Christelle.
Thanks.
Thank you both. You guys are great. Guys and girls. Sorry. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hold on. Go. Okay. Got to make sure they get my good side. As Christelle said, Ron Baden, I'm the CEO of Host Analytics. I love the 80s theme that Christelle brought to the conference this year. I too was a child of the 80s. That was me, 10 years old, 1980. Tube socks, the little puka shell necklace, the bowl haircut, a very good-looking kid. My parents sent me to sleepaway camp at 10 years old. So like most kids at sleepaway camp, I took my favorite picture, I wrote them a letter, right? We had to actually write letters back then. Took the physical picture, put it in there. Dear Mom and Dad, having a great time at sleepaway camp. So much fun. By the lake. Hope you guys are well. I got a response back 3 days later. Son, your mother and I moved from Chicago to Connecticut. Here's your new address. When you get back from camp, you can come find us in Connecticut. True story. So I rebelled against them and became this guy 2 years later. Grew the hair out, parted it down the middle. What you can't see on my left shoulder is a rolled up pack of cigarettes, because that's what we did in the 80s. We were cool. I was actually doing Grease Lightning, go Grease Lightning. So not that cool. And then that guy came out circa 1987, 1988. White was all the rage back in the 80s, right? Everybody wore white, so we had to wear the white jacket at prom, had the red flower. You can even see, I love this picture, because you can see just a little bit of the mullet sneaking out the back. The party in the back picture. So I love the 80s. It was a great generation. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I did not start in EPM in the 80s, but it wasn't far off from that. So I actually started in EPM right around 1992, somewhere in that time frame. So degree in accounting, finance, with finance. I went to work for a poultry company. And like all new finance majors, they put me in the plant and told me how to hang and cut up chickens. That's what I learned first, part of the management trainee program. I actually bought Arbor S-Base back in the day and automated the different plants, so we knew from the plant management perspective how fast the line would run, therefore how productive we were and how much we could sell. It was my first entree into EPM, the ability to do performance management. I then went to work for a company called MBIA. People don't know MBIA, but they were the guys who backed the 2008 housing crisis. They were the ones who gave everybody the money to go do all those secondary loans. And then I went to work for News Corp. So I got to work for Rupert Murdoch at News Corp, and I really learned how to put performance management into work. You can see the list of companies I've worked for. It's sometimes easier for me to actually put the companies I haven't worked for on the slide than it is to put the ones I have. Started with Arbor, S-Base, did Hyperion, did all of the different products with Hyperion. Really liked that software back in the day. Thought it was a great product. It was really the gold standard. I went to ComShare because I wanted to learn how a great product could be unsuccessful in the marketplace. For you ComShare alums, sorry about that. But ComShare had a great product. They didn't understand the whole go-to-market strategy, so I learned a lot there. I went to Cognos because of BI. I wanted to learn the BI game. Did a little bit with Microsoft's product called Performance Point. I actually liked the product. They ripped it out very quickly. And then joined Host Analytics roughly around 2008, 2009. So this is my 10th year with the company. Here's the jobs I've had at the company. Sometimes easier to put the ones that I didn't do. VP of Services, then I became Chief Customer Officer and did renewals. Then I complained a little about the product, so they said, go run it. You can go do it. That's what happens if you complain a little. Then I became Chief Revenue Officer, and then they were kind enough to let me be CEO. Christelle, I will apologize in advance. I don't know where you're at, but I am going to be Chief Marketing Officer soon as well because they're cool, and they get to do all these fun things like this. Only kidding, not going to do that one. So why did I come to host? Roughly 10 years ago, the market was in what I would call a flux. So there was a lot of companies getting bought. There was a lot of acquisitions, and things were changing. But there's one thing that I saw commonly from the on-prem days, which was what I'll call fatigue. And fatigue came in three forms for the finance people. It came in money fatigue, as in I'm tired of paying for software I'm not using, or I'm tired of paying a consulting agreement that's double what it should be. So that's the first one, is dollars fatigue. They had software fatigue. Sales told me it could do this. I need 6 versions of upgrades to actually make that work, and I'm not going to upgrade. And then they just had time fatigue. How can you possibly put in a product that takes a year to put in? How can you wait, right? Everybody needs it today. And so I saw that level of fatigue, and I said, wow, that is not great. And so I said, well, what's different? Like, what's coming out and what's different? So I met a guy named Jim Eberlin, and Jim said, I'm doing this thing called the cloud. And originally back in the day, I mean, that was really what you think of the cloud, right? People still don't get where the cloud is and where the data is. And am I really taking a file cabinet and shooting it up into the cloud for data storage? But I loved the idea of the cloud because it was nimble, it was agile. You could get upgrades. Like, that whole thing was very cool. But I also loved the SaaS model, right? Everybody knows SaaS and cloud are two different things. I liked that you could pay monthly, quarterly, or yearly, and you got to judge your vendor. I thought that rebalanced the playing field for the finance teams. And then lastly, as a converted finance accounting person who had to go do this stuff, I wanted to help. I really wanted to come and change the way this stuff works. So I was an early adopter of cloud. So that's why I came here, and I feel the exact same, by the way, 10 years later. I feel the exact same about the company and about cloud and what we're doing, and very excited that we're changing what's happening in cloud. So I want to say a quick welcome to all of you folks. The way we talk about you folks while we're at the conference here is based on your badge color. So if you notice, if you look around, people are wearing different badge colors. The green ones, for the folks wearing the green badges, everybody find them, be super nice to them, tell them great stuff, buy them a drink. Those are for what we call our almost customers. Sometimes you call them prospects. We like to say they're going to be customers very soon. So welcome to our almost customers. The black badge ones are employees, so thank you to our employees. They come here, they make the show happen. Somebody said to me last night, don't try too hard. As employees, don't try too hard. The magic is actually to get people here, not in what you do. The fact that you get people here is actually the magic. Let them talk to each other. Let them interact. Let them tell stories. Thank you. Sit in front row. Awesome. And I agree. So we appreciate what our employees do. The blue badges are the people that have volunteered to speak. So thank you for coming outside of your comfort zone and helping us have a great conference. It's not easy to speak in front of your peers. But as a finance person and a finance professional, if you want to move up in your career, you have to learn the art of public speaking. Last year, Jennifer Jones from Aspen Institute sat on stage with me, did the user conference. She did this speech with us, and she almost started crying. I don't know how many of you remember that, but poor Jennifer almost started crying. And I asked her, why would you possibly do this? She said, because I want to be a CFO, and I have to learn this skill set. So for the speakers, thank you for doing that. We certainly appreciate it. To our partners, we love our partners. They do a great job in extending what we do with the software, extending how you folks can use it, thought leadership. They give away cool trinkets. Go visit their booths. They have lots of cool swag. So we appreciate what our partners do. I want to take a second and thank our platinum sponsor. So Bill Roush and the UHY team. I think some of you are right here. Thank you much. Appreciate you guys being the platinum sponsor. To our analysts, press, and media, they're wearing the yellow badges. Be careful what you say to them. They write everything down. If you want to see, just watch them right here. They're all right here. But thank you all for coming. We appreciate it. Talk to them. Understand what's happening in the market. Read what they write. It's very, very good content. They do a really good job. And then the orange badges, which is the primary most of you, that's our customers. And I want to just say on behalf of the company, we really appreciate our customers. We appreciate who you are. And from the bottom of our heart to yours, we love our customers. Can you play the video?
Over the years, Host Analytics has supported the evolution of thousands of enterprises, and we're thankful for every single one. Host Analytics, we love our customers.
Awesome. We do love our customers. How cool was that Dino Nobel clip in there? I watched that probably 5 times now, and every time I just go, when they blow that building up or whatever it was, that was super cool. Let's do a quick exercise. I don't want to be the only one standing, so I'm going to make you all stand. So this is a high consideration purchase. People stay with their vendor for a while, and I just want to do a quick test here. I want to see how long people have been with the company. So the first one is easy. If you've been a customer longer than a year, and you could do it if you signed in 2018, if it was the end, that counts. But if you've been a customer for more than a year, can you stand, please? Everybody's doing math in their heads. I know it's early. Wow. Wow, that is awesome. Told you, they stay. All right, now, if you've been, everybody stay standing, except, let me see how this works. Stay standing if you've been a customer for more than 2 years. All right, 3. We're going to go fast here. 4. Yeah, I know the Martin Brower folks will be standing. Massimo folks will be standing. Where were we at? 4, 5? Weeding some out. 6. All right, there go the Abbott folks. 7. It's really hard for me to see. 8. Holy moly. It's a good thing you guys are tall. Hey, Shane, how are you? Good to see you, bud. 9. Nobody. 10. Holy moly. All right, 10s. Was it 10 was the last one? Whoa. Okay, sorry. Like I said, it's hard to see. How long have you been a customer? 2009. Awesome. Well done. Awesome job. So if you could come after we're done, come to the Ask the Experts thing. We have a gift for you, and we want to take a selfie with Tick and Ty. So if you could come over there after we're done. So at Host, we do love our customers. You guys are the lifeblood of what we do. The other part of the people who are the lifeblood of what we do are our management team. So the pictures on screen that you're seeing right there, that is our entire management team from the 1980s, okay? So I would tell you to go find them afterwards, but you're not going to know who most of them are, so I'm going to help you. The one that looks a little bit like Tawny Katane sitting on the Corvette with the long hair, that's Mark Sando, who runs our customer success team. His hair is amazing. He cheated, though. The Van Halen shirt is actually from 1990. No, he cheated a little bit. The girl that looks like she's going to a Hogwarts convention. In the Gryffindor house, that's Christelle Flahoe, our Chief Marketing Officer. The person just directly next to her, that's actually me on my way to a Milli Vanilli concert, downtown Julie Brown, 1989. Yes, I was there when the record skipped with Milli Vanilli. Next to that is Dan Fletcher, our CEO. He was 7 in the picture. The best part of that picture, actually, is he's wearing Velcro shoes. I loved Velcro. It's the best way to teach your kids how to tie their shoes. Keep moving to the right. No one will get this one. That's John Camelhar, who runs our services team. When you see him now, he's a lot different. I'll just keep going. The Freddie Mercury look-alike from Bohemian Rhapsody, that is Martin Cook, our Chief People Officer. Yep, I didn't get that one either. On the bottom, with the true 1980s fade kid and play haircut, that's Deborah Garcia, who runs our HR team. Next to that is another one none of you will get. That's John Head, who runs our enterprise and alliances team. He is completely bald now, so congrats on having great hair. The other thing that I laughed about in these pictures is why does every guy in the 80s tip their head this way when they take a picture? The one to the right, that's Mark Bauer, who runs our product team. Now remember, this is from 1980. That's his wife standing next to him. So I think they were about 12 in that picture when they got married. And they're still together, so kudos to Mark and Laura. That's awesome. And then one more to the right with that shy grin on his face. That's Sanjay, who runs our engineering team. So awesome job from our leadership team. We love them to death. Part of working for me is you have to be able to embarrass yourself. It's just something we do. They all did a great job submitting the pictures. You'll see the question mark on the screen. That means it's a polling question. So when you go to the app and you log in, you'll see there's a question that says, who has the best hair in the 80s? Okay, so I'll go on there, fill it out, click on it. If you get it right, that the spiked hair on the top row, that's how you get free drinks, by the way. So vote for Ron. But thank you all. They did a great job. We love our leadership team. So let's turn to what do we do. So let's just talk about for a minute what we think about at Host and the way we think about it for you folks. So there's 4 things that we think about. The first is automate. So how do we make this process easier? How do we get you folks out of copying, pasting, and attach? It's one of our favorite jokes we tell, that CPA should be not copy, paste, and attach, that you should actually get to be a CPA. We worry about accelerating and making it better, close faster, get more people on there, align. You'll hear a lot about alignment. How do I get my users and constituents on the software? And then how do I do that being a good finance professional and do it by reducing costs and not spending more? And if you look, you guys have done a great job in actually doing this. So these aren't our stats, these are your stats. These are customers who've done this process and done it well and have been able to reduce their automation process by 75%, speed up the management reporting by 50%, 80% reduction in how long it takes to go through the process, and 75% cost savings. So that's an amazing job by the customers doing that. Now let's talk about EPM for a minute. So this is the lineage of EPM. I know it because I was part of it right from the beginning. So in the early days, all we were doing is replacing Excel and replacing VisiCalc. And it was a Datum, it was OutlookSoft, it was Hyperion, and a host of others, no pun intended, but a ton of others as well. But the problem was they weren't connected. You'd get a bunch of standalone models in each of those. You'd get for the finance department, but you really couldn't get people in there. And what happened was one day an analyst said, and we love our analysts, one day an analyst said the answer is not in EPM, the answer is in BI. And so all of the BI vendors and the EPM vendors joined. So Brio and Hyperion, a Datum and Cognos, BobJ or Business Objects and OutlookSoft, they all joined. And the way we like to describe that time frame is like a marriage that you sleep in separate bedrooms. So they were married, but they had different sales teams. They had different go-to-market strategies. It was a different buyer. And so that didn't work the way people expected it. Fast forward a little bit forward. Now you get the EPM, the mega vendors, who bought all of these companies. So Oracle bought Hyperion. SAP bought Business Objects. And IBM bought Cognos. Good luck finding any of these EPM companies in any of those companies. They're worried about a lot of other things, and EPM's not one of them. And then look at what happened this year. So fast forward, and you end up with vendors who are doing a very good job standalone EPM. And we were making progress in doing that. And then folks wanted capital. So some people went out and went public. And what happens when you go public? You now have a board that's making decisions by committee. How well do we make decisions by committee? Not very well. So people who did that are changing what they're doing. They're not doing EPM anymore. And then a vendor went out and took money and got acquired, and it was an ERP vendor who acquired them. And we already saw what happened with that. And what I like to say is, for us, we get to be a standalone EPM vendor. We get to do EPM right. And on our board, you'll see an announcement today that we actually added a new board member who is the CEO of Adaptive Insights. He knows the industry. So when we ask about what do we need to do to be a really good EPM vendor, we get really good answers. So we're proud of where we stand in the EPM industry. In December, we got acquired by Vector Capital. That's the way that we went and took money. And it's been a very successful relationship. And what do they like about us? They saw a very good market, an untapped market that still had a lot of room in it. They liked that we solved complex business problems, that we actually could help you folks do the tough dives. So we've always joked that, you know, if you look at a diving competition, just diving off the diving board into the water, I think they call it a pike position or straight in, it's kind of an easy dive. If you watch the movie with Rodney Dangerfield, he does the triple Lindy. Really difficult dive. How many people have seen that movie? Back to, yeah, thank you. You guys can explain to the ones who didn't raise their hand what I'm talking about. He dove from diving board to diving board, did a flip, another diving board, and ended up in the water. We solve those problems. We have lots of great customers. Vector loved that we had great customers. Gartner talks about us as the only independent vendor in both Magic Quadrants for close and finance. It's very important, trusted in the industry. Lots of chance for incremental growth, and then a great leadership team. That's what they saw. Frankly, I agree with them. What we see also on top of all those things is a great company. And when I talk about company, I always talk about it on two things, culture and people. Those are the two things that are most important to me about the company. So we put our employees right. We put our employees first. And you know, there's an old saying in the industry, and you guys are all customers, so you're going to hate me for saying this for about 10 seconds. But there's a saying that goes like this, the customer is always right. What do you think? Is that true? Yes, you're all customers. You're all right all the time. Actually, what I've found is if you treat your employees and make them right and you treat them well, they will take care of you folks. They will do what's right for you folks. So we put our employees first. And we love, love, love our employees. We also love our culture. So there was one other conference that I was looking at. It was an EPM vendor. They hired Frank Abagnale to be their keynote speaker. Does anybody know who Frank Abagnale is? Who? Catch me if you can. He was the guy who cheated the banking system out of millions of dollars. Explain to me how that makes sense at a finance conference to have that person come speak. I don't get it unless you want to do bank fraud or you want to go write bad checks. Here, we worry about what we're doing outside of the company. So last year we had Bert Jacobs. Life is good. I'm wearing his hat. This year we've got Doc Henley from Wine to Water. Another great cause, and you'll love, love, love hearing from Doc. These are our people in India. We do a hackathon twice a year. They come up with the innovations that drive the product. A lot of what they do gets in the product. And we're so proud of the culture and the company that we've built. Now, what are we doing with it? A lot. Like when Vector said, here's money, go invest it and go make it work, we took them literally, like now. Before they change, this is always what my kids do to me. Dad, can I have some money? Yep. They spend it before they even get it. It's amazing how they do it. We're doing the same thing with Vector. We spent it almost as fast as we could get it. But what? What are we doing? So the first thing is international. So we believe that it's an untapped market for us. We've done some, but this is about localization, expanding the product line into different languages, getting out into the different countries. And we're doing that through resellers. We're very proud of the resellers we have. Increase the channel, feet on the street. People out working with the product in the form of channel to help get the word out and help fix the finance problems that are out there. I always believe in vertical solutions. I think it's a great time to do it. So build a retail calendar, make it easier for retail to do what they're doing. Take the sales team and actually train them specifically on doing verticals. And then do a lot with the product. So the first thing we want to do with the product is we love the product. It does hard things. It does really good things. We just want to make it easier, right? Like instead of 2 clicks, what if we just did 1 click? What if your CEO came to you and said, I need to reorg the whole company because we have a new board and we're going to change what we do, and you guys all go, well, weekend ruined. What if we made that easier? What if we could let you do that stuff easier? What if we could let you re-implement, right? Why implement once? How many of your companies say the exact same year over year? Do not raise your hand. That was a trick question. So why not re-implement? Why not make it easier? And then look for strategic tuck-ins. Look for stuff that we can do to extend the usage that you folks can get. So that's what we're up to. Let me just talk about trends in EPM. So what are we seeing? So the first thing we're seeing is connected planning. You guys will hear that everywhere. Right? Connected planning is awesome. Let's get the models actually talking to each other. So if I change bookings, I should expect revenue to change. If I change revenue, I expect the funnel to change. That's connected planning, and we're doing that. That's actually happening right now. People are doing connected planning in that form today. What they're not doing is they're getting the people in. They're not getting the people in. And so therefore, you're losing a third of the ability to do connected planning. We got to do digital capabilities. You guys, we'll use the word digital capabilities. You guys may know it as RPA, robotic process automation, AI, machine learning, all of those things. We'll talk about that. We've got to create the next great, I'll call this the war on talent. We've got to create the next group of finance professionals that understand it's performance management, not just finance. We got to make sure that the stack makes sense. So what we buy has to be best of breed and has to make sense. We got to embrace hybrid cloud. I'll talk about what that means in a minute. And then we've got to embrace mobile. It's actually embarrassing how bad our industry has done on mobile, but we'll talk about that. So here's the thing about connected planning. How many Netflix users are in the room here? Okay, got it. So I'm a Netflix user. We have 4 accounts. So it's me, Beth Ann, Tommy, and Cameron. Tommy and Cameron are my kids. Tommy's a boy, Cameron's a girl. When we did Netflix originally, it didn't ask you who you were. You guys remember? It would make recommendations for you, but it wouldn't ask you who you were. So I like war movies. My son liked cartoons. Guess what Netflix recommended for me? Cartoon war movies. Neither of us watched that. And why did it not work? What were they missing? The ability to ask people, who are you? What role do you play? And who are you? And because of that, that's why they ask you that question. So now they can make actual recommendations. So I can get war movies and my son can actually get cartoons. Now he's 20 now. I don't think he watches cartoons anymore. By the way, I don't watch war movies either. My 3 favorite movies are Zoolander, Shooter, and Stomp the Yard. Good luck figuring out how to recommend those 3 movies in one common thing. So connected planning is all about the people. By the way, so is digital capabilities. This is all about people too. And by the way, AI is happening already. Artificial intelligence and machine learning is actually happening in the industry today. You know who's leading it? In my opinion, Microsoft. Because everybody's in Excel. How many people use their iPhone and take pictures of spreadsheets to do data entry? Raise your hand. Heidi, thank you. You just didn't want me to be the only one with my hand up. I agree. So look, I don't know if you guys know, but in the latest release of Microsoft Excel, you can take a picture of a spreadsheet, and it will actually create the spreadsheet for you. You can take a picture of a chart, and it will create the spreadsheet for you. So what are we doing? Because we embed Excel in our application, we're leveraging that technology for AI. So imagine a world where you could take a picture of data, and it would upload it to host. You get automatic recognition. And that is the first level of AI. Let me show you another level of AI. How many people use this? I can't say the name because if I say it, it's going to keep talking to me. So I'm going to say the device that Amazon built that listens to every word you say and sometimes talks to you creepily when you don't expect it to happen. That's what happens in my house. So let's try a couple things. So, hey Alexa, how old is Don Johnson?
Don Johnson is 69 years old. He was born on December 15th, 1949.
69. Who feels old knowing that Don Johnson is 69 years old? I do. So that works, right? Non-context specific, non-content specific works perfectly for Alexa. What happens, though, when we try to ask content and context-specific questions when there's no context or content available? Let's try it. So how about this one? Has anybody ever tried to ask Alexa, what's EBITDA? Hey, Alexa, what is EBITDA?
Here's something I found on reference.com. IDA is an acronym used by chemists for aminodiacetic acid. It is made up of 4
Right.
carbon atoms,
Thank
7
you, Alexa.
hydrogen atoms, 1 nitrogen, and
Yes. If they put this feature on Alexa, I would use it a lot more. So that didn't work. Alexa doesn't know what EBITDA is because there's no context for it. There's no content. Let's try this one. Alexa, what is CAGR?
the noun kangaroo is usually defined as any herbivorous marsupial of the family Macropodidae of Australia and adjacent islands, having a small...
Enough. Thank you. Doesn't work either, right? So what we want to ask is finance-specific questions, and Alexa has no idea. So imagine if you said, hey, Amazon device that's listening all the time to me that I'm not going to say the name of, what is CAGR of $100 million investment over 5 years? We should be able to answer this question, right? That should be a simple question to answer. Alexa can't do it because it's not content and context specific. When you get the data, look at the amount of data that's being put into the cloud and being published today. Every 3 years, that data is doubling. It's incredible the rate of data we're collecting. Why does that matter? Because that's how that Amazon device knows how to answer that question. So where is AI and ML actually working? In context-specific cases. IT help desk, for example. If you come in and you say, leave a voicemail and say, I locked my account, it knows exactly what to send you. I forgot my username and password. It knows exactly what to send you because it's specific. And AI and ML require that. So we talk about integration, not consolidation. This point is going to be all about the stack. Every single one of these boxes is in a category that's won by a vendor. Why buy it from a mega vendor? If each of these can do the job that you need, why buy it from a mega vendor? Buy best of breed. The integration tools have done a great job for us, making it easier at a finance level to integrate. So integrate. The only person who wants that one thing from one person is the CIO. And that's great. We should be friends with IT. We should be friends with the CIO. But why sacrifice what you want for that? This I thought was really interesting. One of our customers said to me, our CFO doesn't refer to himself as the Chief Financial Officer, even though that's his title. He talks about it as the Chief Performance Officer. How do I help the business answer questions that they have? How do I help the company become more performant? So we're going to help build, and the industry needs to build, the next generation of finance and EPM professionals. There was a gold standard back in the day. If you said the words Hyperion, everybody knew who you were and what you did. Everybody. And that's what's got to happen again to really be the performance officer. We need that. Data is going to be in a hybrid cloud. It's going to be in multiple places. Some people need to keep data on-prem. It's okay. It's not about whether it's on-prem or in the cloud. It's about whether you get upgrades, whether your data is safe, who controls it. That's what it's actually about. So we're going to see a shift to hybrid cloud. And then the biggest shift is this one. This is the biggest shift that we're going to see. Everybody's going mobile. Sorry, got to let them take their pictures. Everybody's going mobile. Look at the trend. Look at the gap that's created. By the way, that's a 1-year change in trillion of visits on browsers. Everybody's going mobile. So check this out. Boston Consulting Group did a study on the mobile workforce. And they said, what would you give up to use or keep your smartphone? And I don't know if you can read it, so I'll read them for you. Some people said I'd stop seeing their friends in person. Some said they'd put off vacation. Some said they would be willing to give up a day of work to keep their smartphone. Some said they'd rather eat out, they'd give up eating out for 12 months to keep their smartphone. And some people said they'd rather give up sex for a year. Look at the numbers. 30% of the people said my smartphone is more important to me than my friends. That's crazy. Almost half said they wouldn't go on vacation. Crazy. Half said they'd give up that day a week. More than half don't want to eat out. That's primarily the millennials right there. And a third of the people would rather give up sex for a year than be on their smartphone. I'm not going to talk about that last one, because all I would do is get myself in trouble. But that is an amazing trend, right? Like, look at what's happening. Everybody can do everything on their smartphones. But what has EPM done? What is EPM's answer to using a smartphone? Let's put a spreadsheet on your tablet or phone. Is this usable? Not even remotely. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie sat there and shook her head and said no. It's great. Sales, direct channel, OEM, royalties, total sales. If you plan to February. Awesome. Hey, boss, revenue projections look good all the way to February. Forget about the other 10 months of the year. We're not doing them. The problem is, spreadsheets don't work in a phone. It's not the right form factor. It just doesn't work. It's very dangerous to take your phone out on stage because people can and will text you, but I'm going to take a risk here. What works is an interface specifically built for it. Tasks and actions. That's what people will do. Tasks and actions. By the way, second polling question, if you go online, you can go do the poll and you can go fill this out. We need you to do that if you want your CPE credits, by the way. But I want to talk about what's actually being done in mobile. Can you guys get my phone up on screen and quickly before anybody texts me? Thank you. Whew. Please don't text me while I'm up here. I'm taking a chance. This is the MyPlan mobile interface, the first one built for tasks and actions. What do I mean by tasks and actions? See the variance, the green there, 26K positive variance? It means I can go spend money. How? I simply click on it and it brings up the 4 or 5 things I can do. People, equipment, travel, other. That's my budget. I'm going to go ahead and add a person. Look at the tasks and actions I have access to. I'm going to add a new headcount, spend my 26K. How? By copying a person that's already there. You can see I just did it. The variance updated. I'm now overspent by 41K. I'll go back. Every task and action I need is right here. Submit, forward, assumptions, activity manager. All in the palm of your hand. This is where EPM is going, to mobile, not a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are awesome. They're great. We love them. We will not give them up. But mobile is the future. So now let's talk about, okay, you can take my phone off screen. Thank you. Okay, thank you for not texting me. So this is the last slide I have, and we talked about up to 2018, what's happening. And the next generation of EPM is going to look like this. It's going to be connected transformation. It's going to be about getting AI and ML and digital into the application. It's going to be about getting people, that connected planning message and people into the application, not just data and models. It's going to be about creating that next level person, that finance person who knows performance management. And it's going to be doing it with a company that you all trust. This is Host Analytics, the connected financial planning and closed platform that evolves with your business. Thank you.